Today on the channel, we head to the land of the Mandalorian with Magistrate Greef Karga and everybody's favorite, Grogu.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Black Series unboxing and review. And today on the channel, from the Mandalorian, we've got Magistrate Greef Karga, and we've got Grogu. But for all your Star Wars needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Zavi. Use discount code Kyle Peterson to save yourself 10%. Gotta get a deal, and that's exactly what I did with a little bit of Star Wars here. As the Star Wars Black Series, you guys know that have followed the channel for a bit of time, I would say, that I've been really disappointed with the price point of a lot of the Star Wars, and a lot of the guys were getting over and over Mandalorian looking at you just on a rotating basis, and we got a lot of that here today with Grogu. Not so much with Greef Karga, but there is some differences between those two, so it made sense to me. But Grogu, man, they're really milking it, but it makes sense. It's not a non-profit, as we always say. They're going to make what sells, and a lot of people maybe missed out on prior versions of Grogu, didn't want to buy a Mandalorian to get a Grogu, whatever the reason is. Now Grogu, man, he's hit the big time. He's growing up. He's growing before our eyes. He has his own carded package here. And of course, we're going to do this review and unboxings like we do all the other ones here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And I guess children over old men, I guess that's the way we have to do it here. So Grogu, you're up first. Don't disappoint, Grogu. There's old Grogu in the package there. He does come with his carrier. What is that, like a pram or a PAM? Or what is that thing called? Like a pram, I think. I don't even know what that means. But he does got a few accessories with him. But boy, this is a tough pill to swallow, around $24.99 or so. Is there enough meat on the bone here? I mean, Grogu isn't even really an action figure. He's more of an accessory, really, to me. But it is in the Mandalorian-style packaging. Of course, you can see that orange band at the bottom there. You see that beautiful mural. Of course, these all connect together, as we do know. On the back, we got a little bit of a blurb for a little guy. Grogu's got a little blurb. Got a little nonsense down here as well. Let's see what it says about our old friend Grogu, a mysterious alien pursued by bounty hunters on behalf of Imperial interest. Well, that's all you need to know, really, at the end of the day. That pretty much sums up his whole story. I think it really does. He is number 26 in the Mandalorian collection, for those keeping track at home. And we're gone. See you later. Goodbye. Plastic prison for Grogu and his accessories. And like I said, a lot of people will say he is an accessory. See you later. Spider-Man style. Bam. See you later. Goodbye. I'm going to pop all this stuff out here. Hopefully this goes okay. Hopefully. We'll see what happens here. Pram? What do you call this thing? Is it a prom? A pram? I think I've heard it called a pram, or maybe I'm just making that up. It's one of those things where you can't even remember what you're thinking about. Pull that out. It's more of like a baby basket is really what it is. It's just a kind of a futuristic space-age mall walker when you're walking your baby to the mall and stuff is what it is. But there it is. Everything's out. See you later. Let's get down to it. Let's break this all down. And I guess we'll start with this necklace here. Of course, it's got the Mandalorian symbol on the bottom. Perfect for old Grogu, even if it won't fit over his head, but he can hopefully hold it in his hand. We'll see if that ends up working out. But it is the Mandalorian symbol down there on a black necklace. So we do get that. We do get this little shell. I think we've seen this in the past as well. Does have the frog, has that little cup and that little ball that he used. I love that they put it in this little plastic piece, because talk about being lost so easily. Some of the smallest pieces ever. Of course, he's got the frog in here so he can eat that if he needs to. But man, that little ball and that little cup, amazingly small. Like I said, I'm very happy they gave us something like this, because this ball would be the most lost accessory of all time if this was just on its own floating around. Then we do get this little, what is this thing? I was going to say, I thought it was a little communicator, but it almost looks like a little burrito. It's got a little blue on there against silver. I'm trying to think back to the episode he had this. Was this something he was eating on? Was it like a space candy bar or something like that? I think that's what it was, but it does look really nice. The blue really pops against the silver. Very small. So right now, are we feeling the price point is worth it for this? I don't know. But then we do get the pram. I think that's what it's called, like I said. Now, we did get this earlier, a different version of this. I think it was like all silver or grayish color, where this has got some more almost rebel colors going on here with the orange and kind of off-white color. Now, it does plug in the bottom, and myself, like a lot of people, mine broke. So my pram, I keep calling it Pram. Hopefully that's right. Did break. So this one is not broken, thankfully. So it does look good there. And of course you get the little shell carrier there so you can lock the whole egg right up there if you really need to. So once again, another accessory. And that feels like the most valuable thing of this set that would be worth the most, that would cost the most to produce, which really seems kind of strange in your head. But then we do get down to Grogu here. Now, it is a brand new Grogu, so there is a new sculpt here. So that is some extra cost, of course. But boy, you're not sculpting a whole lot. As articulation-wise, you got a little movement on the arm, both arms. You got movement on the head, I believe. Yes, and that is it. And this looks like Grogu kind of down in a sumo position. He's kind of crouched down and kind of, I guess that's his legs, not his knees. But he's got his robe on, or his potato sack, whatever it is called. He's got a little looking very inquisitive. He's got the big green eyes, or the big black eyes against the green head. A little bit of tan colors there, but man, there is not a lot to this. This is definitely an accessory pack is what this should be called. This doesn't feel like a figure to me. It just doesn't. But we have gotten a few Grogus. Now we're going to have a big Grogu collection, and we're going to roll them like dice here. But we've got different ones. We've got this one where he's using the Force, closing his eyes. We've got the one we just unboxed that he's sitting around. And then we got two that are the exact same except different heads from different Mandalorian packs over the years. So for me, at least in my collection, this is the fourth Grogu I have in the Black Series. So I don't know how many more I really need. I mean, there's not a lot you could do with Grogu. It'd be interesting if they gave him Mandalorian armor one of these days. Who knows? Season 3 is just around the corner. He might get his own Mandalorian armor. It very well could happen, and we could have Grogu with a Mandalorian helmet and all that kind of stuff in the future. But as far as this goes, I tell you, this is for the diehards or the crazy people like myself to pick this one up. This is what perfect idea of gotta get a deal, playing that long game, the waiting game, getting this much cheaper, because this really doesn't feel to me like a $24.99 to $26.99 price point. It's just very, very hard to justify, and just not a big fan. Just not a big fan. It's okay for what it is. For $9.99 as an accessory pack, or put this with another figure or something, a droid or two, really flesh it out a little bit more. I think that would have worked, but just as it sits right here, it's a tough pill to swallow. I gotta be honest there. But hopefully a pill that's not tough to swallow is my boy, old Carl Weathers, old Greef Karga, of course. Love me some Carl Weathers. And I don't know if you saw that new Mandalorian trailer for Series 3, him and Mando, they give it the old Arnold Carl Weathers shake from Predator. I don't know if you caught that in there, but I was like, oh, I see what they're doing there. All in on some Predator, of course. But Greef Karga, Magistrate Greef Karga, he's moving up the chain, he's getting things done. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Love me some Carl Weathers. Just an 80s icon and still acting all these years later. So shout out to old Carl Weathers. Know he's a big fan of the channel, I'm sure. I'm sure he's watching this video. But looks really, really good in package there. He's got a bit of a robe going on. I almost want to say cape, but I think it is technically more of a robe. But he does got that going on there. He does, of course, got the mural on the side we're used to, the Mandalorian packaging. On the back, we got a little blurb for old Magistrate Greef Karga. And we got a bunch of jibber-jabber at the very bottom of the package. And, of course, the glamour shot. What's it say about Magistrate Greef Karga, who is number 24 in the line for those keeping track at home? Once an expeditor? Boy, big words with Kyle today. For the Bounty Hunters Guild, Greef Karga ran the trade on Navarro. Now Magistrate of Navarro, Greef is cleaning up that rough and tumble world. Oh, man, he sure is. Getting it done, cleaning up. He's cleaning it up. There it is. See you later up high. Goodbye. Double plastic prison. Everybody loves a double plastic prison. Pull that out. Get this Spider-Man style, a little action. Bam! See you later off the screen. Up high. See you later. Over the top. Goodbye. And we're going to bust out the old Magistrate himself. I think. Yep, there we go. He's got one blaster. He used to have two. See you later. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. He used to have two blasters. Now he only has one. So he does have a gun here. Nice little scope on it. A nice gray plastic. All one color. Not a lot of details to this. But it's a little pistol. It's one of those conceal and carries where you, bam, gotcha. Bam. Something like that. You do that old Carl Weathers style. But very, very cool. But I like this one. Magistrate. I've never really heard the word magistrate too much. I mean, I've heard of it. but not, I don't know, is it like a count or a baron? Something like that. It's like a fancy title, but what do they really do? That's kind of what I think of when I think of magistrate. But a very regal looking outfit here for old Carl Weathers, Greef Karga. Looking really good. We're going to start the head sculpt. Got a little gray in that beard, which is fitting. Got the nice black hair. Definitely all day long. I feel this looks like Carl Weathers. An old Carl Weathers, but man, definitely looks like him. I like that a whole lot. We do get this robe slash cape, we're going to call it. It is removable, so you can move it out if you really, really needed to, but it'd be a lot of work. It's really not worth it to ever take this off. But it does have some nice design to it. It has some nice sculpting. Looks very, very regal. Got the gold badges on both sides. You got the little neck piece right there. Got a little red color against the black. Just a very, very nice cape slash robe. Of course, articulation-wise, head side to side, back and forth, all kinds of movement. Tons of movement on this head. You also get the neck articulation, so a little double dose of articulation on this one. Arms limited by the robe. You can make it work, but it is definitely limited. You get the side to side at the elbows. Single jointed elbows, as we do know. Back and forth on the hands. Got a little trigger hand right there, which is nice with the weapon, of course. What do we got for the abs? We get some side to side. That is it. You get a little bit of a splits there, a little bit limited by his skirt down here and, of course, the robe. You do get a thigh cut, single jointed knees, and then really good ankle posability side to side, back and forth on these ankles. So not a ton of movement, but, you know, Carl Weathers was never a gymnast. We do get a holster. I was wondering if we had a holster. So there's a holster underneath the robe here for the weapon if you don't want him holding it. But it does look really, really good. I like the looks of this Carl Weathers. I don't think this one's going to sell the best. Greef Karga in his first incarnation was a peg warmer, unfortunately. I think this one will probably end up having the same fate. Really is unfortunate because this is a pretty good figure. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. What do you know? He fits like a glove, and make sure you get the Mattel stands, as I always do say. Of course, we got the older version of Greef Karga, more outlaw Greef Karga here. He's rocking the half cape here. Very, very bold fashion choices, the half cape. But both good figures. Now he's got a beard. He's got some gray in it. He just had a mustache in this one. So he's progressing in age, I guess, like we all are. It seems like every one of us is getting older every single day. I don't know. I haven't checked the math on that, but I think that is truly the case. But looking pretty good. I think I'm going to take him all day over Grogu. As much as I like Grogu, I don't know how you can justify the price point being the exact same for these two. Yes, you get some extra stuff over there, but does it really mean anything to anybody? Yeah, it's okay, but pretty tough pill to swallow. But Greef Karga, not so much, but I would say long gamers, both of these, just be a little patient. If you're not in a hurry to get them, you'll be able to get a deal out there. Who knows? Maybe sooner than later, the way things are going. But what say you guys out there in YouTube land? You picking up these two from The Mandalorian? Or are you going to pass on them? Or are you playing the long game? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. As you guys know, we got videos every single day. Of course, even more content over on the Patreon, your best way to support the channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget to hit me up and follow along on social media. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Grogu and Greef Karga, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.